Hello, Oracles. Ooh, my golly. Tesla just continues to run. Tesla up over 5% on the day and still climbing after hours over another 1%. So Tesla closing just under 275. So, what is going on with Tesla? Now, we've got Elon, who is speaking to the Prime Minister of India today about some manufacturing for the future. We've got other companies coming out saying that they're going to be joining the NACS, that's the North American Charging Standards. So much awesome stuff going on for Tesla. We're going to get into all of that. What's going on? What can we see in the future? We'll discuss that in just a minute. All right, so looking at the charts, and as we can see, closing today at 274.45, huge run today. No gap created, but we had a nice run today. Still have these gaps down below. Again, I'm not concerned about that. We'll discuss that later on. RSI right now is at 88.54, so pushing that 90 level, definitely still very overbought. Looking at it on a weekly level, we're at 69.33, so still not overbought yet, but pretty darn close. And on a monthly basis, we're still at 55, basically right in the middle. So, again, looking at what we are potentially seeing in the future, if you guys watched Peggy and I, it looks like we may be running, and obviously we are running, but we may continue running with some dips here and there along the way. But we may get a bigger pullback towards the end of the year. Again, I still think we'll see that in the next 6 to 12 months. But before then, we might run a little bit more. And now for me, I know some people are frustrated saying, hey, we're looking at the charts. It seems like Tesla is due for a pullback. They just don't seem to be pulling back. Some people sold out of some shares. And it's one of those things where I sold out half of my shares over in my IRA between 155 and 190. I thought that we were going to be seeing a pullback before we ended up getting this run. I was wrong, but that's why I only sold half of it. Now, I did turn a good chunk of that money that I had sold into TSLL and TSLY. So it's not like I missed out entirely because I still caught those at the lower end and I'm making some very nice profits and dividends on those. So I'm still winning on that end, and I still have those 11 shares that still continue to climb as well. In my main portfolio, I just continue to add. I'm not selling at all. But looking at some people, you have to take a step back and realize that if you have taken a profit, you still won. You made a profit. Sure, you're missing out on more upside. Yeah, it stinks, but nobody can time the market. Looking at the data that we're looking at, if you are swinging and you're looking to sell, that is a near term type of trade. Then if you are looking at it that way, that's short term, that's near term, that's very difficult to time. If you made a profit, you made a profit, you won. So you can beat yourself up, but what would have happened if we did pull back? If we did pull back, you would have sold at the top and been great. So again, looking at it on a short-term basis, those are the risks you have to take. That's why I still maintain my shares in my main portfolio because I'm playing it long-term. I'm looking at this 5, 10 years out. I don't look at, selling these at all in the near term. So I'm good to go. And I continue to add. I just don't add as heavily now because I do anticipate that pullback. So that's where my mindset is. None of that is financial advice, but I know some of you have sold. You've mentioned it to me, and it's frustrating, yes, but think about all the gaps that we have. We could still see a pullback depending on what levels you sold at. You may potentially still have that opportunity to buy back in at a lower level than you sold. So you can still turn that around and buy more shares at a lower price. So that's just my take on it. Be patient, see what happens in the market, see what's going on. There's still so much happening in the macro environment right now that we still have this tension building up and we can still see a decent pullback in the entire market, which inevitably would pull Tesla down with it. So just pay attention to those things. Be patient. Be happy that you made a profit if you ended up selling. If not, and you're still rolling with it, awesome. You're enjoying that ride. All right. Now, going to the news over in India, Sawyer Merritt tweets out news. Elon Musk will reportedly directly brief Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi on potential plans to set up a Tesla manufacturing base in India. The in-person meeting will take place today. So the Prime Minister was here in the US and Elon set up a meeting with him to discuss this. Now we know from last year that they were in talks for things, and I thought India was going to be a place that Tesla was going to announce a factory. And then because of the different taxes that India was going to be putting on the vehicles and everything going on, Tesla decided, you know what, we're going to stop the talks because you're not willing to play ball with us. And now it seems like these talks are back up and running. Now, we don't know exactly what took place with this, but sounds like it's manufacturing. We know that Tesla wants to get in there. So, it looks like there's going to be a vehicle manufacturing plant. We're looking at batteries going in over there. I have no doubt energy is going to be going in over there as well. As we know, India could definitely use some help in that area also.
Come on, you met the Indian Prime Minister for the second time. Your first reaction. How was your meeting? Are you coming to India? I'm planning to visit India next year. No, are you planning to invest in India? I'm confident that Tesla will win India and will do so as soon as humanly possible. I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for his support, and hopefully we'll be able to announce something in the not too distant future. Are you looking to invest in India, Elon? Yes. How soon can we have Tesla in India? Well, we don't want to jump the gun. We don't want to jump the gun on an announcement, but I think it's quite likely that there will be a significant investment and relationship with India in the future. That's big news. What made you change your mind? I've never changed my mind. How was your meeting with the I have to go, guys. Thank you. It was an excellent, very good conversation. How soon will we see you in India? Next year, count on it.
And while I was editing, this video just came out with Elon confirming that, count on it, next year, Tesla will be in India. Elon's going to be over there discussing things. They want to make some announcement relatively soon. So sounds like we've got some big plans coming to India from Tesla. Again, this is something I had mentioned before. Now, Elon did confirm. He's like, he never changed his mind. I thought that they did. I was wrong. But here it is. Elon confirming it all. So very exciting to hear this. So much potential that Tesla can do in there. Think about what Elon wants to do. Elon wants to disrupt how we operate as a world when it comes to energy. Where is he going to focus his energy the most is going to be in places like India that are really ripe for disruption that can really kind of benefit the most out of everywhere in the world. So that's where he's focused on right now. So again, he's been having a lot of talks with a lot of leaders of different nations. He was over in Europe last week. Now he's speaking to India. We know that Elon is talking to a lot of countries. Again, going to the fundamentals, the fact that Elon is having these conversations with so many heads of state is a huge bullish sign for all of Tesla going forward. So regardless of whatever happens with the stock price, obviously we're seeing that reflecting right now. But even if we get that pullback, remember these times because this is massively bullish for the company. So potentially setting up manufacturing there. I don't know if we're going to end up hearing about something soon, but I have no doubt we're going to be hearing about at least one more factory by the end of this year. Sounds like they're probably going to stagger these by maybe 6, 9, maybe 12 months between these factories to get them up and running. Now, looking at how they're going to be pacing it and looking at 20 million units per year by 2030, if Mexico is going to be pumping out 4 million vehicles, they really don't need that many more factories at the Mexico level to be able to reach that 20 million vehicle point by 2030. So I think they're going to have more than enough factories globally to be able to produce 20 million vehicles worldwide. It's just a matter of, are they going to get to the point where they're going to be selling all of these vehicles? Now, we also know, and we discussed it with Peggy yesterday, that if Tesla is looking at 20% market share by 2030, and that's 20 million vehicles, that means they're focusing on about 100 million vehicles overall when it comes to the entire global automotive market. Now, with that, even if let's say 20% of them on top of what Tesla is doing, now we're also looking at the fact that here in North America, we just heard today that we've got Rivian coming on board when it comes to the NACS, that's the North American Charging Standards, and Hyundai announced that they're discussing, the potential of doing it themselves. Now, Hyundai is one of the next ones that are big. Hyundai's out there, they're quietly coming up and they're doing quite well when it comes to, EVs coming out. So having them come on board is another huge player. I have no doubt we're going to be hearing about Stellantis soon also. We also heard about Blink Charging coming out saying that they may be switching over to it also. They kind of have no choice because if they don't, they're going to die. So ChargePoint, Blink, they come over. Tesla sets the standard that is the North American charging standard, and everybody's going to be using the Tesla charging network. Now, think about it this way. You've got the Tesla charging network out there. You have all of these other vehicles that are also using it. Tesla now has data to all of them. This is kind of like the gateway to the future. Now, if we start looking at the future and other manufacturing companies are like, ooh, Tesla solving FSD, we couldn't figure out chargers. We needed the infrastructure. So we tapped into Tesla for that. Now we're at the point where vehicles are becoming autonomous. We cannot compete with that. Tesla's there. We are not. Then we probably will end up seeing these companies license FSD from Tesla also because they'll know full well if they don't have that, they will not be able to survive as an EV manufacturer, just like they're seeing right now when it comes to the charging infrastructure. This is just the stepping stones that we're seeing. Now you take that out to 2030, we've got 20% more of the vehicles. That's 20 million more vehicles on the roads that are coming out on an annual basis. Also licensing FSD, that becomes a massive, massive game changer with revenue coming in. Thinking about even if it's $200 per vehicle that are out there, 20 million vehicles, do the math, $4 billion. That's a lot of revenue coming in from FSD right there. And that's just on a monthly basis. $200 per month for all those vehicles, $4 billion a month in revenue from FSD just from that little piece. So again, I'm just spitballing and throwing some numbers out there. And this, of course, relies on Tesla actually solving FSD, all of the countries in the world, on the majority, regulating it so that FSD and full autonomy is allowed in their countries. So a lot of these pieces have to fall into place, but seem to be moving in that direction. And here's the article here from Sawyer Merritt News. Hyundai says it's considering joining Tesla's North American Charging Standard Alliance. And TechnoSmith tweeting out, look who is here. Rivian is adopting Tesla's NACS standard for EV charging. So little by little, they're tapping in. I have no doubt Lucid's going to be coming over soon as well, because again, they really have no choice. And this morning, we also got Moneyball coming out tweeting the Made in China weekly insured units, as they always do. So between the 12th and the 18th, they saw numbers of 14,500 vehicles getting insured, which is down from the previous week, but Shanghai is still on pace for a record quarter coming in over there. Now, don't forget, we have coming out on the 2nd of July, we should be getting all of Q2 numbers for production and deliveries. So we will be discussing that. Peggy and I are trying to figure out a time to do that. I will be away that weekend, but I'm going to try and do a video for you guys to recap those numbers when they come out, because again, those numbers are important, because as soon as those numbers come in, that's when we see all of the analysts take their numbers, because that's the first number you take a look at. You've got your whole entire valuation model. The first thing you change out is how many vehicles did Tesla deliver. That goes in there, and then that recalculates everything else in your valuation model based upon what you have for average selling price, and you break things down, because Tesla will break out what they have for Model S and X, what they have for Model 3 and Y. You make those adjustments in your valuation model, and then we'll see a lot of adjustments coming to price targets as well. So the next 2 weeks, we should be seeing maybe more analyst price target changes. We saw a lot of them at the beginning of the month, which is very bullish. So we could be seeing more of that going on in the next couple of weeks. With the run that we have been seeing going on right now, there could be potentials for analysts to come out and saying, hey, we had it as outperform. Now it's going to be just at perform, just because of the fact that Tesla has been running so much. It might happen. I don't know. We'll see what plays out over the next couple of weeks. Either way, so much bullish stuff going on for Tesla right now. It's absolutely incredible. Let me know how you guys are feeling about this run yourselves. Let me know what you guys think we're going to be seeing for production and delivery numbers at the end of the quarter. And let me know what you guys think about North American charging standards or India. What do you feel about India? I know it was kind of off the radar for a while, but it sounds like it's coming back pretty darn strong. So Tesla's got options, and it's awesome to have options. So otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. Have a great one.